and welcome of the canapé de sleep. Do you remember the last movie or series that made an impression on you? So much that you told everyone about it? Or the last intense emotion felt in front of a scene or a character to the point of thinking about it again for several days? This is the case of Sai, who made me the pleasure to share his intense emotion about this movie. Make yourself comfortable, make yourself comfortable, and have a good listening. Hi, Sai. How are you doing? And can you introduce yourself?
Hi, Bernice. Um, I'm Sai. I'm doing great. It's been a lovely day. Just finished rewatching my favorite movie that we were going to talk about. Um, yeah, and I'm a little bit about me. I'm a data engineer. I'm 28 years old. I like to read, and I'm also writing. Um, and that's pretty much what I do these days. Yeah. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you. What is the movie or the series that had an impact in your life?
Um, so there's so many movies to pick from. It's kind of hard, but I wanted to talk about Fight Club today as my favorite movie because of no, because of what it um, how it transformed my life, as in how it changed the way I thought about certain things. Um, so that's what we are talking about today.
Yes. And can you explain to us what the movie deals with?
So Fight Club's written as it was first a novel, and then it became, then they made a movie out of that. Fight Club's written by Chuck Palahniuk. He's a American, writer. He calls his, the genre that the book belongs to is transgressional fiction. It's where the characters are, you know, do not conform to societal norms, and there's a lot of philosophy or wisdom, a lot of takeaways or some deep dark thoughts about certain things. Um, so the movie is, you know what, I actually remember the first when I first read the novel. I did read the novel after watching the movie, right? I still today remember the first lines of the novel. It goes like, Tyler gets me a job as a waiter. That's how it starts. And then now it's like, I have been, I've been reading Chuck Palahniuk for a long time now, ever since, and he has influenced a lot of my writing. So anyway, I digress. So to talk about what the movie is, it's basically like, you know uh talks about how a character has both the soft side and the masculine side, or sorry, I mean to say both the soft side and the dominant side, and then how those characters influence in the way you do certain things. It's a lot of drama, and I've never done a podcast on the movie on my favorite movie, but the characters. I don't want to, if somebody hasn't watched the movie already, listen to this podcast. I don't want to give out any spoilers, but it's basically about someone who is tired of you know being consumed by American advertisement, American consumerism, and who wants to break free and look at world from a non-consumeristic point of view. So I guess pretty much that's like a synopsis of the movie.
Yeah, totally. But I noticed the satire of the consumer society and the pressure of the society during the movie. And I quote like Tyler Durden, played by Brad Pitt. He said, "You are not your work. You are not the money you have in the bank. You are not the car. You are not your wallet. But there is a paradox because we can observe a lot of product placement in the movie. Did you notice that?
You're not your job. You're not how much money you have in the bank. You're not the car you drive. You're not the contents of your wallet. You're not your fucking khakis. You're the all singing, all dancing crap of the world.
Yeah, we are not your job, you're not your clothes, you're not I don't remember the exact lines, but I do notice that.
So, you agree with the satire of the consumer society in the movie, or what do you think about it?
Um, it's okay. So this might sound a little bit off because I'm a consumer. I have a lot of products, a lot of gadgets, and I do get into consumerism. I do consume a lot of what America has to offer, for example. But what I think he's talking about is that to be mindlessly, without thinking, be influenced by consumerism. And actually, this quotation that you just read. He says that you're not your job, you're not your money, you're not the money in your bank. Basically, what people think about when they define themselves is how much, for example, oh, I work at so and so, I make this much amount of money, or oh, I wear nice clothes. But at the same, that doesn't really define a person because they can keep changing. And then also it's very superficial way of describing anybody or anything. Like, so I'm totally I totally agree with what Tyler Durden, Brad Pitt says when he says that you're not your job, you're not your money, because there's an intrinsic value to, there's a value to like, there's some, like, how you move in your life, what you think about, how you understand things, how you interpret things, and how you live as a person is what really matters, not what you possess, not what it's not your car, it's not your house, but who you are as a person is something that differentiates, or that is the one thing that actually matters.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And what emotion did it generate in you when the first time you saw the movie?
So initially, first I was just shocked when I saw that. When I saw so many like, usually you watch movies that are fun, that have a drama, or just straight up action, like for example a Gladiator, or you would watch. As growing up in India especially, um I grew up in India for 21 years of my life until I was 21, and then I rarely read anything that was dark humor, or or watched anything. So this movie was a big shock for me, because it's not really the kind of movies that I did watch. And then when I first, shock is one of the emotions, if that counts. And then I was surprised, and I felt that there was some beauty in everything that the Edward Norton, the guy, he keeps talking about. So it's a voice. I fell in love with the voiceover, because he keeps talking about, he reflects on everything that is around him, and how he calls, just instead of ignoring what is going on around him, he makes sure that he addresses these things and see how things are going, right? So I think I always had this inner voice inside me that also talks to me, that I talk back to, right? And then when I watched the movie, I immediately was able to feel peaceful, or feel connected in the sense that, oh, he's reflecting on things, or there could be good, bad, or there could be a bad reflection, or could be saying something that's not complete nonsense. But yeah, so that movie changed the way I thought about movies and writing, and I did explore other experimental movies like this after that.
Yeah, but you feeling that you say it, but did you feel like is mental health of the main character, like the schizophrenia? Do you remember of the feeling of him?
I do remember the feeling. What you're talking about? How Tyler and how Brad Pitt and Edward Norton are really the same person, right? And how he has two minds about it. Like he can't even is very schizo, right? It's not really about. I mean, I don't know. At least initially, it's obviously the movie. You were shocked by the time you finish the movie. You're shocked. I was like, oh, wow, I did not expect this, right? But initially, it's not really about split minds. I guess a lot of us have an inner voice, or the other side. I mean, it's not a serious condition. I mean, well, I don't know how. It's funny because if I like, what I mean is that I'm not schizo, okay? But it's like I do have that voice inside me that guides you, or like that you talk, that you speak with, that brings out the truth. There's this everybody has a higher self and a lower self, right? Higher self is where you fit in with the society, and then you say things that people want to hear. But at the same time, there's this lower self that has desires and strong emotions and bunch of other things that tend to come out when you got drunk, or when you had too much coffee, or you didn't get enough sleep. So I guess that exists in everybody's mind.
Yeah, for sure. But we can speak about when he met Marla, the other character, who was also doing the same thing as him, and he realized he's a part of his imposture.
When he met Marla, and he says, so when he meets Marla Singer, he can't sleep anymore. He has insomnia again. It's because he lived a lie, as in everybody thought he was dying. And then when Marla, are you saying she's an imposter? Like he feels like an imposter, like a fake person?
Yes, exactly, because when he saw her, he thinks she's an imposture, but he does the same.
Yeah, sure. I think Edward Norton's really trying to he's a very emotional person. He, as you see in the movie, right? There's Norton, and then there's Brad Pitt, right? Two different characters, two different ways of thinking, because they're the same person but split into two different characters. So he's trying to let go of his he's trying to connect emotionally with people. And then he joins these groups. He's crying all the time with them, and then he's listening to them. He wants to feel loved. He wants to feel a relief from all the things that are going on in his life, and the things that he can't understand. So when he meets Marla, it's like he just realizes that she's also doing the same thing, but it's like he's okay with that, I think. And
she ruined everything.
This is cancer, right?
This chick, Marla Singer, did not have testicular cancer. She was a liar.
Power Ed. Slide. Okay.
Hey. We need to talk.
So?
Oh God, why are you doing that?
It's cheaper than a movie and this free coffee.
When people think you're dying, man, they really, really listen to your touches. Instead of just waiting for their turn to speak.
And he's straight a cancer ward. It's not my problem.
You could take lymphoma and tuberculosis.
You take tuberculosis. My smoking doesn't go over at all. Good. Well, and actually, I have more of a right to be there than you. So,
What impact did it have on your life, and did you watch it again?
I think one of the greatest impact is how it changed the way I thought about things. It definitely gave me a lot of perspectives on consumerism and life, death, what it means to have hope, what it means to be nice and be rude, or a bunch of things that how I how to live one's life. I'm not saying it's something that taught me these things, but it exposed me to things that I haven't witnessed in other movies, at least at the time that I watched it, like about 15 years ago. Also, one major thing, what I really liked about the movie is the script itself, because it's taken from the novel Fight Club by Chuck Palahniuk, and the novel made me curious about good writing and what it means to write really well. So I ended up reading a lot of Chuck Palahniuk later after the movie, and right now I do. In fact, I even brought a copy of. It says On Writing Well. No, not On Writing Well. I'm sorry. That is by Stephen King. But I bought a copy from Chuck Palahniuk. Oh, it's called Consider This, which teaches how to write with clarity and with style. So and every day I write, I keep these tips in my mind, and you see how what makes discover for myself what makes good writing. So yeah, I think the movie has, even though it didn't have a direct impact, it did have, not a lot of direct impact, but it did have a lot of indirect impact on my life. I did watch it. I think I did watch the movie a second time a few years ago, but I did rewatch it, like not completely today. But I did but I'm reading the book again at the moment. So yeah.
And for me, I noticed that the film can be split in three parts. The first one where he lived with the other. The second, the stage of the description with the Fight Club. And the first is he gets free from he didn't want to be. For me, it's a philosophical film.
First rule of Fight Club is, we do not talk about Fight Club. Second rule of Fight Club is, we do not talk about Fight Club. Third rule of Fight Club, so when y'all stop, goes limp, taps out. Fight is over. Fourth rule, only two guys to a fight. Fifth rule, one fight at a time, fellas. Sixth rule, no shirts, no shoes. Seventh rule, fights will go on as long as they have to. And the eighth and final rule, this is your first night at Fight Club. You have to fight.
Do you have any recommendation for a movie or a series on this topic?
I think if somebody is interested in watching something similar to the Fight Club, is to watch American Psycho, or Memento, or Machinist. A bunch of movies that take you to that have psychological depth to them. And yeah, these are some great movies. For example, in The Machinist, he discovers something in the American Psycho. I'm sorry, in American Psycho, we see a good account of the psychological state of Bateman, I think his name is in the movie. So yeah, I don't have any other recommendations other than American Psycho or Memento or The Machinist.
Which movie or TV show do you never get tired of watching?
I definitely do not like to rewatch movies. Um, there are some movies I do like to watch, for example, The Fight Club or American Psycho, or it could be, Interstellar or any of the Christopher Nolan movies that, because every time you watch it, there's a new perspective that you gain. Like you discover new rooms behind doors that you didn't know existed. So yeah, I guess any. Oh, by the way, I forget to mention Perfume. The Perfume. It's a TV series. I think it's German based. It's one of my favorite series. Actually, I wanted to talk about that too, if we get another time. But it's one of my favorite series because I will never get tired of it because it deeply portrays what it means to love and what it means to be loved, um, and how, as we humans, will do anything, uh, you know, anything in this world to, um, you know, feel loved.
Give me an emotion that ends what we just say in the podcast.
Can I give you how I feel about the podcast? I think this podcast is really a good idea to hear what people see when they watch movies. Um, you know, because movies are usually rated in terms of their soundtrack or um, you know, sound design, videography, the stunts, the makeup. All the categories for that they give out Oscars for, right? But I think it's a great idea to know personal opinions and personal stories that are crafted by these movies. Because when somebody watches a movie and then their lives, tend to be different, whether for good or for bad, but to be able to capture those thoughts and then make them available for everybody else to see how people are thinking about movies and how people or series and how they make decisions in their lives based on what they watch, indirectly. I think it's a great idea. I'm really happy to be part of this podcast. It's amazing. I might be stumbling and not fully prepared for this, but I think it's one of the it's a unique experience for me. This is the first time I'm recording a podcast.
Thank you very much, Sai.
Yeah, thank you for having me.